The first time she saw my scar, she stopped breathing. Not literally, of course. Aliens like her didn't breathe the same way humans did. But something in her posture froze, like a machine suddenly unsure of its programming. Her glowing violet eyes locked onto the jagged mark running across my chest. And everything changed. But to understand why that scar mattered, you have to understand the war. Chapter 1. The war no one wanted. For 32 years, humanity had been fighting the Ilari Empire. The Ilari weren't monsters. They weren't mindless invaders. They were intelligent, advanced, ancient, and unfortunately for us, they believed Earth was once part of their forgotten territory. According to their records, humanity had simply appeared during a primitive colonization gap. In other words, we were squatters. At first, humanity tried diplomacy, then negotiations, then threats. Eventually, there was only war, and humanity was losing. Badly. Their ships could bend gravity. Their weapons could collapse matter. Entire human fleets had been erased in seconds. Cities burned. Colonies vanished. Humanity was desperate. That's where soldiers like me came in. My name is Captain Elias Ward, and I was part of the last group of soldiers trained for missions nobody expected us to survive. Chapter 2. The mission that should have killed me. The mission was simple. Simple didn't mean safe. My squad was sent to infiltrate an Ilari command station orbiting Saturn. Our objective: sabotage their communications array. Without it, the Ilari fleet would be blind long enough for Earth's forces to regroup. The problem? The station was protected by thousands of soldiers. And by someone even more dangerous. The Ilari Royal Observer. Her name was whispered among human intelligence networks like a ghost story. Commander Lyra Vare. She wasn't just a military leader. She was royalty. A daughter of the Ilari imperial bloodline. And she had never lost a battle. Naturally, my team ran into her within 20 minutes of entering the station. Chapter 3. The moment everything went wrong. Explosions echoed through the station corridors as our sabotage charges detonated. My squad had almost reached the escape hangar when the hallway lights flickered. Then the doors sealed shut. A voice echoed from the walls. Calm. Cold. Beautiful. Human intruders, she said. Your resistance is admirable but pointless. The air shimmered. And then she appeared. Commander Lyra Vare stepped from a field of blue light. She was taller than any human woman, her skin faintly silver, her hair flowing like strands of liquid crystal. Armor shaped like living metal covered her body. And in her hand, a weapon that hummed with quiet destruction. My squad opened fire instantly. It didn't matter. Our bullets curved away before reaching her. Gravity distortion fields. Advanced alien technology. Within seconds, 3 of my soldiers were down. I kept firing anyway, because soldiers don't get the luxury of surrender. Then she turned her eyes on me and smiled slightly. You are brave, she said. Or foolish. She raised her weapon, and everything went dark. Chapter 4. The Scar. When I woke up, I expected to be dead. Instead, I was lying on a cold metallic table. Pain burned across my chest like molten iron. I looked down. A deep, glowing wound stretched across my torso. A scar. But it wasn't fresh. It had already healed. Almost perfectly. Alien healing technology. Across the room, Lyra Vare watched me. You survived, she said quietly. That is unusual. I tried to sit up. Failed. You killed my squad, I said. She tilted her head slightly. Yes. No apology. No regret. Just a statement. Then she walked closer. And that's when her eyes fell on the scar. Her expression changed instantly. Confusion. Shock. Fear. Something ancient. Her hand reached forward slowly. "Where did you get that mark?" she asked. Her voice was suddenly trembling. Chapter 5. The Impossible Symbol. I looked down at the scar again. To me, it looked like a jagged burn from her weapon, but she was staring at it like it was a ghost. "That scar," she whispered. "It cannot exist." I laughed weakly. "Pretty sure it does." She ignored me. Her fingers hovered over the wound but didn't touch it. Then she whispered something in her own language. The translation implant in my ear struggled, but it finally processed the words. "The mark of the first alliance." I blinked. "What?" She stepped back like the floor had disappeared. "That symbol belongs to a treaty signed 10,000 years ago." My brain struggled to process that. "Lady," I said, "humanity wasn't even using fire 10,000 years ago." Her eyes sharpened. "That is why this should be impossible." Chapter 6. The Forgotten History. Lyra activated a holographic projection in the room. Ancient symbols filled the air. Alien writing, star maps, and a single symbol, the exact same shape as my scar. "This mark represents a pact," she said. "A treaty between the Ilari Empire and a lost species called the Arden." "Who?" I asked. "A civilization older than ours. They helped shape the early galaxy." The hologram shifted, showing humans, Earth, ancient cave drawings. According to Forbidden Archives, the Arden eventually disappeared. Her voice lowered, but before they vanished, they hid something. I frowned. "What?" She looked directly into my eyes. "Their descendants." Silence filled the room. Then she whispered the words that shattered everything I believed. "You." Chapter 7. The Truth About Humanity. Lyra paced the room like a scientist staring at a miracle. "It explains everything," she said. "Your species evolved too quickly. Your genetic adaptability. Your survival instinct." I shook my head. "No. Humans are just humans." She activated another scan. Genetic sequences floated in the air. Then she highlighted sections glowing gold. "These markers do not belong to any known species," she said. "They match fragments of Arden DNA." I felt the room spinning. "So, what are you saying?" Her voice softened. "I am saying that humanity may not be native to Earth. And that scar," she gestured to my chest, "only appears when an Arden descendant survives exposure to Ilari royal weaponry." My mouth went dry. "You mean you accidentally awakened something in me?" She nodded slowly. "Yes. And if the Empire learns about this..." She didn't finish the sentence. She didn't have to. Chapter 8. The Decision. Lyra stood silently for a long time. I watched her carefully. Alien royalty. Enemy commander. The woman responsible for killing my squad. Finally, she looked at me. "You must leave," she said. I blinked. "That's surprising." She deactivated the security fields around the room. "If my people discover what you are, they will not stop until they control you." "And you?" She hesitated. "I don't know what I will do." Then she extended her hand. "Stand, Captain Ward." I grabbed it. Her grip was warm, stronger than I expected. For a moment, neither of us spoke. Then the station alarm screamed. Chapter 9. Betrayal. A mechanical voice echoed through the station. "Security override activated." Lyra's eyes widened. "That's impossible." A new hologram appeared in the room. An Ilari officer bowed slightly. "Commander Lyra Vare," he said. "The High Council thanks you for confirming our suspicions." Her face hardened. "You were spying on me?" "Of course," he replied. His gaze shifted to me. "And now we have the Arden heir." Lyra moved instantly. Her weapon appeared in her hand. "You will not touch him." The officer smiled. "Your loyalty to the Empire is disappointing." Behind him, hundreds of Ilari soldiers began surrounding the chamber. Chapter 10. The Battle for Humanity. Lyra looked at me. This station will fall in 3 minutes. Great, I said. Any escape plan? She grabbed my arm. Yes. Then she pressed her palm against my scar. Energy exploded through my body. The mark glowed like a star. Ancient power surged through my veins. Gravity bent. Metal twisted. Every weapon in the room shut down. The soldiers outside collapsed under invisible pressure. I stared at my hands. What did you do? She smiled faintly. I reminded you who you are. Chapter 11. The ending. 3 hours later, the Ilari station was drifting in silence. Human rescue ships approached carefully. I stood beside Lyra in the observation chamber. You just betrayed your entire empire, I said. Yes. No regrets. She looked at my glowing scar. 10,000 years ago, our species promised the Arden we would protect their descendants. Her eyes softened. My people forgot that promise. But I didn't. Earth's blue light reflected in the glass. The war wasn't over. Not yet. But for the first time in decades, humanity had hope. Lyra turned toward me. So, Captain Ward. I raised an eyebrow. Yes. She smiled slightly. Now that everything has changed, her eyes sparkled with curiosity. What are you going to do next? I looked down at the scar, then at the stars, and I realized something incredible. The war between humanity and the Ilari was never supposed to happen. But maybe, just maybe, it was about to end. Because the moment she looked at my scar, everything changed.